I'm interested to see how that works out for AJ, because I know Christian was very firm and 3 was the correct number, whereas AJ has decided to go against the grain.
Yep.
And rock the 4th one. So,
and a controversial decision to be sure when we'll be debating this. On the left, we have Mark Garrison playing Naya Aggro, who I believe you have his list in front of you.
I do have Mark's deck list in front of me. You're going to find a couple Thalias here, a couple Daybreak Rangers. I got 2 of those. 4 Blaze Splicers, 4 Hunt Masters, 4 Restoration Angels, 8 Mana Accelerants. Pretty standard stuff there. You're going to find 3 Thrag Tusk, 3 Bonfire of the Damned, and then he's got a 1 of each sword. He also has 1 main deck Ancient Grudge, which is a little bit interesting. And then his mana base is fairly standard. You're going to find your Scars land. You're also going to find only 3 Cavernous Souls as well, as Mark does take a mulligan right now. As for AJ's deck list,
he is definitely on the. Well, he has Invisible Stalker plus Pike. On top of that, he has a lot of kind of one-ofs, instants and sorceries to facilitate his Snapcasters and what have you. He has a Pillar, 2 Gut Shots to Dismember, 3 Leaks, 2 Gitaxian Probes, and then 4 Ponder, 4 Thought Scour, 4 Snags, and a full playset of Bonfire of the Damned. And then he has 4 Silver Falls, 4 Mountains, 9 Islands, Desolate Lighthouse, and 2 copies of Evolving Wilds.
we see that AJ has started off here with Public Enemy #1, Delver of Secrets.
We assume it is a checklist card. It could be.
I don't know.
Could be anything, but we'll get confirmation in a moment. All right, there it is.
And he'll obviously be checking for blackjack momentarily. Mark on his end has started with a Bird of Paradise.
What did we
and
have?
the big bug, I did not get a good reveal.
It was a red card.
Ponderu is going to set things up for AJ. So as far as ideal starts go,
Yeah,
I would say this is one of them.
Looks like we got a shuffle.
He didn't waste any time shuffling.
Yeah, it looked like 2 Vapor Snags and something else. Don't know if he's looking for a land or what have you, but...
And for those of you guys watching at home, Mark did mulligan to 5. I thought it was 6, but it is actually mulligan to 5. So he's back against the wall, and he's also facing a Flip Delver on turn 1.
It looks like his hand's 4 cards right now.
Are we sure that's a multi 5? We're gonna get confirmation. Gut shot on the.
He's got 4 in his hand plus the forest plus the bird that just died.
Okay. Gut shot on the bird is going to be a little problematic. I see just lands in his hand.
Yep. AJ's stuck on 1 land, and I believe Garrison's hand actually is just 4 more lands.
I know there's a cavern. I saw a Thrag Tusk.
Oh, there's a Thrag Tusk.
So it's the battle of no lands versus a bunch of lands. And can I get to Thrag Tusk in time before that Delver kills me?
So,
all right, we have a Desolate Lighthouse.
And an image on his Insect Aberration.
So he's going to try to he's going to go to the skies now, and he's just going to try to get this game over as fast as he can. I know that I see AJ's hand. I can see a Rune Chanter's Pike, another Gut Shot, as well as a Vapor Snag.
Nice one of Desolate Lighthouse over there. So greedy.
It's a little greedy.
Could have a 5th mountain instead.
Yeah, it's a little greedy. I'm not going to argue with you. But wait until he starts activating it. Then we'll see who's greedy.
I think Garrison's probably going to die before we get to that point.
Right. Thought Scour is going to... We're going to see a leak in an island. Hopefully AJ's looking for a land is my assumption. Now, the thing for Mark right now, assuming that AJ does not have a mana leak in his hand and he's tapping out for Rune Chanter's Pike, is he has 3 Bonfire of the Damned that are very live, and he needs to find one, and he is out of here.
That ain't it.
That ain't it, and that is all. So he did not get to Thrag Tusk in time. AJ Sacher up a game, and as we move to our sideboard, what do we think? Obviously, AJ did not see very much from Mark. I know that he saw his mana, so I think he can safely assume... We know that he's a green deck. Yep. You can assume that he's Naya if you'd like to, because he saw Sun Petal Grove and Copperline Gorge. What do you think AJ does sideboarding here?
Well, against the red-green deck, I believe 2 copies of Flash Freeze is a pretty safe card to decide to add to your 60.
If not now, when?
Yeah. He's also got 2 copies of Pillar of Flame. It's very likely that you want for a deck with birds and, I don't know, possibly Strangleroot guys, whatever. Those seem pretty straightforward adds. He has another copy of Gut Shot he can add, and I don't know if I don't know exactly how long he's anticipating this matchup going. Part of the problem is that he's probably not even 100% sure what Garrison's deck is because he just played a bird and died.
And then he died, yeah.
Yeah, so there's actually still a range of decks he could be potentially. So AJ's got to decide if he wants to have the 2 Dissipates and the 1 Tiamo Tameo.
Tomato.
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 The one tomato in his sideboard. If he believes that Garrison's deck is a little more grindy, but he doesn't have actually full information about what's going on there yet.
As far as Mark's deck, and of course, Mark would like to play a game of Magic. He would not like to play Bird Die, both games. We're going to find in his sideboard things that are useful. 2 Combust are definitely going to be useful. I'm also seeing, I see an Oblivion Ring. Mark's handwriting is difficult to read at home, guys, just so that you know.
I can try to interpret it. My handwriting is horrible, too. So
okay.
I can usually
from
tag
one
in on this.
From one doofus to another. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. The card I couldn't read was Ground Seal.
Yeah, it's a Ground Seal.
But I think from what I saw, I see 2 Combust coming in and maybe Oblivion Ring, and that's pretty much it.
Well, you're positive you wouldn't want to have Ground Seal here?
I'm not positive. I mean, looking at Mark's deck, I don't think that there's... the Grudge is going to come out, I would assume. Yeah. I don't think that he wants Grudge against the one Runechanter spike that he saw. Outside of that, I don't think there's a ton that he's going to sideboard out in this matchup. He's already got his Thalias and Daybreak Ranger's main deck.
Yeah. Blade Splicer's a little marginal against Delver, right? Like, that's actually not one of your better threat cards?
It's okay. It provides a solid clock because it makes it so that AJ has to have Vapor Snag to care about the token.
Or just kill him in the air, right? That's the other issue?
Sure. But I think that, Blade Splicer isn't great, but it provides a solid clock. The Golem token is only answered by Vapor Snag, so if AJ, doesn't draw that many Vapor Snags or doesn't draw any, then it's a very real possibility that he's getting erased by a Restoration Angel Blade Splicer.
Yep.
It's not the end-all be-all like it is against red-green decks, but I still think it's perfectly reasonable in this matchup. And as these guys look through their openers and decide exactly what they're going to do, obviously Mark is going to want to try to keep 7 for once in this matchup. Do you think one side favors the other as far as, the games go?
I would probably want to be on AJ's side of things because Bonfire is so swingy.
Okay.
It's like a huge upgrade to the matchup or whatever, but both of these decks have just like such swingy draws that it's hard to... Being on the play and just being able... neither deck can really answer the other deck's nut draws especially well, so... But yeah, all other things being equal, I would rather be on AJ's side.
There's a sort of Feast and Famine. Not a card that I love against Delver. It's okay, and we can't really tell what he revealed. I believe that's a Pillar of Flame.
Does he have the Sulphur Falls?
Or does he have the Desolate Lighthouse?
Come on, Lighthouse.
There's Sulphur Falls. That's what happens when you play 4. It's more likely that you'll draw one.
Yeah.
And another Delver here. So Mark is under the gun again. This is a similar start to what AJ had last game. He's just, he's all over him right now. I know that Mark has a Birds in his hand. He opted to play Sword last turn. He's going to equip the Sword here. So, it can do some blocking duty if he wants to. Myself, I would have wanted to get that Bird into play as fast as I could instead of the Sword because I don't think it's very realistic that you're going to hit him with the Sword in this matchup.
No. I'm actually surprised it's still in his deck.
Yeah. If you want to keep red-white Sword in, I can understand.
Sure, there's some upside. Yeah, there's some upside.
There's some upside there, but I don't love having green-black Sword in after sideboard against this deck. Looks like AJ is going to get Taxian Probe. He's actually going to pay the 1 mana instead of the 2 life, and he's going to see
a Township, a Cavern of Souls, and a red card that.
Oh, I know the red card. My good friend, Shake Your Bonbon.
So that's actually really valuable information now for AJ because he knows that he's threatening Bonfire for 2 next turn.
Correct. And AJ does have Phantasmal Image in his hand, and from what we saw last game,
would have just fired it off.
Yeah, he would have just fired it off, copied another Insectile Aberration, and get the air beats and get the game over with. Now he's got to slow down a little bit.
Yep.
So we'll see what AJ does. AJ, if you've never seen him play before, he crafts his turns. He takes his time, which is good.
He's an architect.
So the first part's pretty easy. Now that he's seen Bonfire, the attack is safe. He's not going to trade the Birds.
Yep.
With the Insectile Aberration, so he's going to get him to 11. And from the way that things are going right now, as far as from what we can see in AJ's hand, I don't see a mana leak there. So I think 2 Insectile Aberrations are going to be dying this turn.
Right. He has Dismember basically as a 1-of in his deck that could get him out of this spot.
Incorrect, sir. Sword of pro black and pro green.
Oh, yep.
That's
Correct.
why I'm here.
Yep.
Old age. I understand. That's okay. I'm a young stud.
Yeah, still got it.
So AJ's gonna, we find more Evolving Wilds. That's the difference between these blue-white versus blue-X Delver decks that aren't allied colors.
Yeah.
They have to play Evolving Wilds, and I don't hate Evolving Wilds, but it's just so bleh.
Yeah, my match last year against AJ for the Star City Open in Edison, last year's Cobblade Standard, Game 3, he was red, white, blue, Cobblade. Game 3, he just couldn't cast the spells.
Yeah, sure. Just Evolving Wilding away and everything else. So we see, we don't know what he drew. All right, so there's a Cavern of Souls, and he's going to name something. Could be human, could be angel as well, but we already know what's going to happen this turn. That's going to be Bonfire for 2, taking care of the boys.
Yep. Knocking AJ down.
He's going to knock AJ down to 16, I believe, because the probe that he played, one of the 2 probes he played last turn was through Phyrexian mana. So if you're Mark, you feel okay right now?
Yeah, no,
it looks like Mark drew Restoration Angel last turn. So if you're Mark, you're feeling okay. AJ has a lot of decisions to make on his turn.
Yep. Counter of Souls was placed on Angel, which is something of a some information for AJ.
Sure. Now, of course, he can name Angel just because he can name Angel. He doesn't have any white mana right now, so his Township is a little bad as well. But I mean, he can just name Angel if he wants to bluff it and act like he has Restoration Angel or not.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, since AJ already saw his hand, it's like, what are we bluffing here? You know what I mean?
So Mark is going to draw. He wouldn't Miracle Bonfire if he drew it, and it looks like the easiest thing for this turn is just going to start with. He may cast a spell pre-combat, but he's going to start with a sword.
Yeah, it seems like the place where you want to start off the action.
Get his hit in. AJ's going to discard a mountain. Interesting to see Ghost Quarter in AJ's deck. Maybe he cut the Lighthouse for it after sideboard. I know that AJ has a Ghost Quarter in his sideboard.
Oh, do you think it's just for Cavern of Souls
Yeah,
decks?
possibly just for Cavern, yeah. And Mark just passed back, so Restoration Angel is going to be coming into play on the end step. It's unlikely that he's going to blink the birds off of the sword. No reason to do that.
Yeah.
But AJ's hand right now, we're looking at Bonfire Image and a mountain. That's pretty
Garbage.
much it. Yeah.
Garbage.
Hot garbage, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing exciting here. So we have our Angel friend. No Blinky Poo. AJ is gonna Ghost Quarter.
Yeah,
something?
Well, he's deciding between the Township and the Cavern.
Sure, while he has the window open right now.
Yeah.
Any preference on the two?
I mean, actually, probably neither, just because, he doesn't have Leak in his hand, so getting rid of the Cavern doesn't provide a lot of value. And the Township actually allows him to get... destroying the Township actually allows him to get a Plains.
If he wants
which then could turn on any number of stuff in the hand. So,
sure.
Yeah, AJ's just not even going to do it.
And if he kills the Cavern, it's just going to let him go get a Plains.
Yeah,
so
anyway,
that he can turn on Township, sure. So it's kind of lose-lose no matter what he does there with the Ghost Quarter.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, AJ is in kind of a lose-lose spot right now.
Yeah, I don't know how he's getting out of this. He has Bonfire.
Miracle Bonfire is a start. But it's always a start.
Yeah, as it is wont to be.
So we're going to move this over there.
I think this is just a hedge against Bonfire. Maybe start jamming the Township next turn.
Okay, sure. That makes sense. He wants to give that guy 6 toughness so that a Miracle Bonfire is not going to take care of his guy. It's also going to untap his land so that he has the white mana through the Birds of Paradise so that he can activate his Gavany Township. I'm okay with that play.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Draw step. It's a sweat. It was not a Bonfire. It was a blue card. I can't tell if it's snappy or not. Decisions for Mr. Sacher. Tapping 3. Could be a Metamorph. Does he have a Metamorph through a 75?
There's a Bonfire for 1.
Bonfire for 1 to kill bird.
Well,
even though that
Well, there's a township in play.
There's a township in play, and he's going to let it die. Interesting. I'm interested. He's going to activate in response. Oh, boy.
Right, so we're going to snag the angel.
We're going to snag the angel.
Okay.
Okay.
We're punching back.
Yeah, I don't like the no activation with the bird in play myself.
Yeah, I'm not sure what motivated it. I also don't exactly know why AJ wouldn't just fire it off. Oh, he can't fire. Sorry, he can't fire it off for 2 and also snag that same turn.
Yeah. I mean, AJ is obviously playing to his outs to get him to do this. He's going to play this now. If he can't equip now, I don't like that play at all either. Because now he's turning on AJ's Miracle Bonfire. So I don't like that play at all either. There's no reason for him to cast it now. Because he has Cavern.
Yeah,
So there's no reason to play it main phase. It's going to resolve no matter when he casts it. So now, I mean, I'll give AJ credit. He gave his opponent the opportunity to make a mistake, and gave himself the opportunity to capitalize off it. Unfortunately, he didn't.
Yeah, but he at least gave it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing to his outs the best he can in what we described about 2 minutes ago as a terrible situation. So he's going to copy. He's going to copy Restoration Angel.
He's got to get rid of that Gavin Township at this point.
It's time to get rid of the Township because he has the white mana from Razorverge Thicket. He can activate it. And then AJ just has the 3rd Sulfur Pulse in his hand.
I assume he's going to play because he's just going to get sorted this turn anyway.
Yeah, there's no reason to hold it. He's going to get sorted down. The attack is going to put him down to 3, but by no means is he out of this game yet.
Yep. So some running snag and bonfire type draws.
Snapcaster still available.
Yep.
There are things that can happen to get him back into this game. It's not a great situation, but stranger things have happened. Draw step from Mark. The sword will be equipped. A hit shall be taken. AJ is going to take 5. He's going to go down to 4. So the next attack with Restoration Angel will be lethal. Assuming that AJ takes the damage and does not block.
Yep.
And I think that blocking is not something that's going to get him back into the game. Okay. Mark's land should be untapped. Just a little something there. But Ponder is going to resolve. See a Thought Scour, a Delver,
Snapcaster and a bonfire. Oh boy.
I think that's a Thought Scour.
I thought it was a Snapcaster. I was about to say we're in business.
Yeah, the business would have been good. It feels like a shuffle to me. Do you think he just keeps Thought Scour, maybe?
Yeah, I just don't think you can win. Yeah. It feels like you're supposed to keep Thought Scour and then Thought Scour because you can still Snapcaster into snag this turn. Like, I don't know what it costs you. Unless you just don't want to mill over one of your bonfires. Like, you'd rather reshuffle and have an extra draw at it.
Have an extra draw at Miracle.
Right.
Sure. So it looks like he's going to be shuffling right now. Not sure what the players are. Okay. All right. So they've fixed the land on tap with the sword. It is not a Yume. That does have to happen. So AJ looking for a big time peel off of Bonfire, or off of Ponder, excuse me. Bonfire won't save him.
Still got Bonfire on the brain.
I can't get enough of Bonfire, damn. It's my favorite card right now. I mean, obviously, even though we can't see AJ's card, I think all will be revealed if he is attacking. If he attacks this turn.
Oh, the lighthouse.
The lighthouse. Well, it's time to block. Okay.
What's Garrison's hand here? It's a land, a bird, and
I can't tell what the red card is. He's gonna discard.
Just lighthousing for 0.
Sure. I can't tell what that card was. I can't tell if it's. I know it's a creature. I can't tell if it's Snapcaster Mage, but I think it was. Lighthouse concession.
And there it is.
That was Phantasmal Mage. Phantasmal Mage would have bought him another turn, but
he's still just chump blocking.
Yeah, he's just still chump blocking again, but it would have bought him another turn, which ain't so bad. But we're going to go to game 3 here.
And we saw that AJ actually just brought in the Ghost Quarter. I don't know if it was as an extra land or, well, he didn't cut the Lighthouse.
Yeah, he did not cut the Lighthouse, and he has 20 lands in his deck. I could see him wanting to go up to a 21st, possibly.
Yeah.
Ghost Quarter definitely has some applications in the matchup. I mean, AJ got off to a really nice start that game with both the Delvers, and then the Gataxian Probe revealed that Bonfire was on the way, and it was time to slow it down.
This is a hard-casted Bonfire. Nothing fancy, no big miracles, just...
Nothing crazy, just a very fair, powerful, mythic rare.
Yeah, just Volcanic Fallout,
Yeah.
or whatever, and for 5, and we move along.
So if you're Mark, and you're on the draw this game, anything in particular going to change? I know that we didn't like Sword of Feast and Famine being in the deck.
Although it was very good that game.
It was better than it looked that game, yeah. I don't know if too much changes on his end. Any real opinions?
Yeah, I'm not really, I'm not sure, like, again, the quality of some of the threats are a little dubious against Delver in general. Like Thragtusk and Blade Splicer both are not awesome against various cards, so obviously their raw power level is very high still, so it may be worth keeping them in the deck, but those 2 cards strike me as being pretty dubious.
Okay. I mean, looking over here at AJ's deck list, not a ton changes. You know, he's still going to stick with his pillars. He's got a 4th gut shot, which he's going to bring in. He has a Fettergeist in his board, which I could see him bringing in. Yep. Just a big flyer is good against this sort of deck. The Flash Freezes, as we said, if not now, when.
Right.
So those should be in his deck. And I still like the Phantasmal Images. I don't think that Mark has a Wolf Run in his deck.
He has 1?
He has 1 copy, okay. So, I mean, a little bit worse, but we haven't seen Wolf Run yet. AJ doesn't know about it, and Image is typically good against green decks anyway.
Yep.
You know, I don't know who it favors. It's very important, I believe, for AJ to be on the play this game.
Yeah. The Delver versus 4-bird, 4-elf deck is historically a lot about being on the play, so it seems like a huge edge. So
I think that just because AJ's on the play, I think he has a bit of an edge in the game.
Yeah.
He's also he's up to 3 gut shots, so keeping those mana accelerants, 3 gut shots and 4 bonfires. So keeping those mana accelerants in check is the most important thing, and he's going to be able to do that provided he keeps a reasonable hand.
And that game was also kind of a demonstration about what we were talking about a little bit ago with Eric Froehlich's deck. Aquarian Dryad would have been bananas that game. I mean, excluding the fact that he had a pro green sword, what that threat would have done against Bonfire of the Damned would have been awesome. Whereas AJ's list is still quite susceptible to getting bonfired out.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. We're going to both peel off our opening 7 and see what we can do.
AJ
Mark
keeping 7.
Mark with a quick
going
mulligan.
6.
How many lands are in Mark's deck?
3, 5, 9, 11, 19, 23.
Okay. A lot of these Naya type decks play 24 and then 8 mana accelerants, and then
he has 9 mana. He has 9 mana guys plus 2 Borderline Rangers.
Okay.
He has a lot of mana in his deck.
Okay. Been mulliganing quite a bit. I just want to see, if he was kind of skipping on lands and it's punishing him, or if he's playing a reasonable amount of mana in his deck.
No, I mean, he's got plenty of lands for what his deck is doing here. He doesn't even go that high up the curve. I mean, he stops at 3 Thragtusks.
Okay, so yeah, he's not doing anything crazy.
And 5 cards.
Well, it's not impossible, but that is magic.
Yes.
And AJ kept his hand fairly quickly, which leads me to believe that his hand is probably fairly good.
Well, I don't know. Well, the thing is, often your hand is like so many cantrips that you actually don't actually know what the quality of your hand is going to end up being like, because you have so many like mysteries, basically.
Sure. Could be anything.
Gataxian Probe could be anything. Thought Scour could be anything. Could mill over anything twice, and then it can also be anything after that.
All right, Garrison, Delver again. Skill game.
Yeah.
It's real.
If it wasn't this random thing, it would be some other random thing.
Sure. AJ making magic look easy.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
No
he drew a
flippy.
Sulfur Falls. Perhaps if we only had 3, that would have been a spell instead.
Yep. That's all.
We'll never know.
It all goes into it with the deck design.
Yeah. So we have a Ponder.
Ponder shows us Thought Scour in 2 lands.
You know,
And the real copy of Delver's Secrets is here. No more of that checklist nonsense.
yeah.
And as AJ decides, I
Tanking.
mean, AJ obviously has the option to leaving Thought Scour on top to flip Delver's Secrets.
Yeah.
He can do that if he wants to, and then there's 2 lands behind it.
But I think he's a little land heavy, so I think the question that he has is, I'm not sure he's willing to draw a land to guarantee flipping the Delver the next turn.
Sure.
I think that's what we're debating right now, because his hand is a mountain, 2 more Sulfur Falls. I mean, more than enough mana that he needs to operate.
Yeah. I mean, the deck doesn't need a ton of mana to operate outside of casting big-time bonfires.
And
So,
yeah, big time bonfires and spinning Desolate Lighthouse is really the only sinks he has for his mana.
Sure. Well, he did opt to keep it on top, which means that Delver is going to be flipping into Insect Aberration next turn. Mark is just kind of fumbling around. You see a Blade Splicer, you see a Sword of Feast and Famine. Nothing too crazy going on here. I think I see a Daybreak Ranger as well, which is going to be pretty important to him.
I don't think
to
he has
get
a
into
third
play.
land.
Doesn't have a third land. Okay.
Or white mana, so we still
Dismember on the up. Dismember on his turn. Okay, and that's good. You know, you don't
Sure.
want to do it on. You don't want to do it on his upkeep where he has mana leak available.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of it now. The cost of 4 life is perfectly reasonable, and now AJ had set up his deck.
yeah, he drew a land that I don't think he wanted to draw there to get that set up.
Yeah.
So if Mark can rip a white source of mana, he's actually got some game here.
You can definitely play a game of Magic then. Thought Scour and Dismember go away. The draw is hidden from us. Come on, AJ. You should know how this
Yeah,
works.
you've been on camera before, man. Help us out.
We know he's going to hit a land drop because he's got plenty of them. Sulfur Falls numero dos. White Source is going to make this a game? It was Bonfire.
I mean, AJ's still not doing anything. We still got a game.
Ponder to start. 2, 3.
Image, Ponder, Gutshot.
None of those are too exciting. I mean, another Ponder is good, but
I mean, it might be worth just drawing an image plus drawing your Ponder next turn and spinning again.
okay.
I can see not wanting Gutshot, but wanting to keep the other 2.
Okay. So AJ keeps it through with Ponder. Sulfur Falls number 3. There's 1 left. We know for sure that there's 1 left.
Confirmed.
Restoration Angel is Mark's draw step, so he passes back. We'll be pondering again, so it looks like he kept that image like you had spoken about.
Bonfire, Gutshot, Mountain.
Still, he's
Like-
twiddling his thumbs.
Yeah, well, I just don't know if he's willing to draw draw those 2 cards to draw a Bonfire. Yeah, he's just going to shuffle
Yeah.
up.
He needs to just find a threat to get this game over with, because right now, is he well set up? Yes. He is fairly well set up, but he needs to get his opponent dead and take advantage of the fact that he has
Right.
no lands, and he has
Right.
nothing on the board.
Oh, there's a Delver, so that's exactly what we were talking about right there. Yeah.
So now Delver's Secrets is in play, and it's going to provide the clock, provided that it flips, that AJ is looking for. Draw a card.
Oh,
Razor
there's
Verge
the
Thicket
perfect.
That's the perfect card.
AJ with Flash Freeze in his hand, which if he plays up, should have played a Blade Splicer, I guess.
Whammy-san.
I mean, AJ might just want to actually just cash in his Bonfire for 2 because his hand's just glutted with action. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
sure,
He actually might want this to resolve just so he has something to do next turn.
sure. Instead of just flash freezing it, hoping Delver flips, passing back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. He wants to maximize his cards.
But yeah, if Garrison had played his Blade Splicer that turn, and AJ bricked off on his flip, like if he just turned over a land, I think AJ actually could be in trouble this game. I mean, it would be. Yeah,
I agree. I agree 100%. Because now he can't bonfire. He can't bonfire away the 3/3 token, and what he's doing is, I mean, it's not great, but it's more relevant than what he was doing.
Yeah. All right, he's going to use the flash freeze here.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I think that plays fine because you can still probably cash in your bonfire for reasonable value at some other spot. I do think the amount of time that he took thinking about it signals pretty clearly to Garrison that he does have a bonfire in his hand, because like what else could you be thinking about for that long and then deciding to flash freeze?
Sure.
Like the amount of mana that AJ has here lines up perfectly with wanting to... Alright, so
he's gonna Snapcaster Ponder, he's gonna get things set up for his Delver, and...
Image, land, image. So we actually just have to shuffle that if we want to flip our Delver in 3 turns.
Yes.
And I'm assuming we're not in the market for Merfolk or the Pearl Trident, so we're going to give this a go. Yeah.
Who are you to say that we're not in the market for that?
In fairness, keeping the 2 images when you have Snapcaster in play is pretty attractive.
Sure.
There's definitely an argument for doing that, but I think AJ's starting to feel like he's got to get Garrison under some sort of clock.
I think he's in the position where he just needs to get this game over with. I'm not saying that he's in a bad situation. He's obviously ahead, but you don't want this game to go like many more turns.
Yeah, it's tenuous.
You know, for example, if he draws like a Cavern of Souls here or like a land, like Restoration Angel is a very real card at this point in time. Bonfire for one. And that flash freeze would have been good right now.
Well, if we had taken my line...
Oh, he would have tapped out.
He would have been tapped out
Okay,
anyway,
sure,
yeah.
sure. And so he pondered probably to set up his Delver again. This is the second time that he's tried to set up Delver and then Delver died.
Yep.
So it's kind of like bricking his turn.
AJ could have just hoped to naturally do it and then just kept Snapcaster plus Flash Freeze up was the other thing he could have done that turn.
Sure. And Borderland Ranger is actually pretty good right now. Now AJ does have a Vapor Snag. We know that he has Vapor Snag.
Yeah,
he's
got a ton of defensive tools, but this game has gone to a pretty weird place.
No, he has the tools in his hand to stave off elimination. 2 bonfires.
I mean, AJ's not going to die for... If AJ loses this game, it's not going to be for a bunch of turns. He's got plenty of time to figure something out here.
Absolutely.
Maybe just fireball out Garrison a few times with some bonfires, maybe.
If that's what it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, but this game
not too proud. Not too proud. Whatever.
Look, it's about winning, okay?
Yeah.
So Plane's going to come into play. We know that Garrison has Restoration Angel, at least 1.
Now I would probably just fire off the bonfire if he has nothing better to do this turn.
Just get rid of that Borderline Ranger?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's threatening Restoration Angel next turn. What else are you going to do with it, really? Like, this is a pretty good spot to cash it in. You also get to knock Garrison down to 12, which seems like, obviously that's still quite a lot of life to work with, but it does mean that your future bonfires are putting him in a position where you could just get burned out between your snags and, you know, whatever else.
You know, realistically, AJ isn't in the position to do, like, some sort of bluffing, whatever. It's like, well, I have Mana Leak, you're not going to cast your spell. Garrison's going to play his spells.
Yep.
There's not going to be any holding of Restoration Angel. You know, he's casting on the
Your hand
end
has
step.
5 spells in it or whatever, you're just going to be casting.
I'm playing my cards, so bluffing any sort of spell is not going to do anything to stop me from executing my game plan. So AJ's got his land. I see Snag. I think that's 3 bonfires. Garrison draws a card. All right, Rootbound Crag's not so bad. If I'm Garrison here, I would be attacking with. Yeah, I don't like this very much.
This is asking for a disaster.
Yeah, this is you getting blown out by Vapor Snag for no reason.
There's a reason there's high upside if he doesn't have it, but this is exactly the type of turn that AJ needed to start getting some momentum and making those bonfires, like turn the bonfires in his hand into
real cards.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're on Mark's side, you know, AJ has pondered and, you know, flashback pondered and thought scoured and done all of this stuff.
The jig is up. Let's see what's going on.
He's done all of these things that you have to believe that he probably has 1 Vapor Snag in his hand. You know?
It looks like we have 2 pair Angels and Blade Splicers, and then the Borderline Ranger.
Borderline Ranger's our kicker?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad hand.
Yeah.
But you know, that just, obviously the sword turn is okay if he doesn't have Vapor Snag, but there's too much, it's too likely that he has Vapor Snag that turn to take that kind of risk.
You haven't given AJ an opportunity to cast Vapor Snag for value. At all this game, he's been sitting with 5 cards in his hand, doing nothing for the most part. It's reasonable to assume that
there's at least 1, maybe 2 Vapor Snags over there, and to cross your fingers and hope you connect with sword at that point, it just doesn't seem. It's just not a good play in my opinion.
It is It is very high risk, high reward, but the writing was kind of on the wall that I think that it was just not going to shake out for him the right way.
So now we have a Pilgrim here.
Yeah, Avacyn's Pilgrim has been drawn.
And I don't like equipping here with my sword. I just want to cast Restoration Angel and hope that it resolves.
Well, right now oh yeah, Restoration Angel makes a lot of sense.
I guess he's going to play Borderline Ranger here so that he can get a land and then equip. Or maybe Blade Splicer, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if AJ has a land, he just blows up his board here?
1, 2, yes, a land will kill everything. That's correct. You know, for me, one of the things that I just don't really like as far as, Mark has gotten himself back into this game because AJ has kind of done nothing and Mark has drawn the lands, that sort of thing. Is that a bonfire? No. It's just
I don't think there would have been a pause if it was a bonfire.
That's touche. Yeah, nug. But I just don't like the way that he's really just, now that he's back in the game, he needs to go back to planning his turns out and maximizing his mana every turn. I don't feel like that he's doing a good job of doing that. AJ is going to Thought Scour. Uno, Bonfire numero 4, Snapcaster, 2 very good cards, and then we don't see the card that he drew.
It's Gut
Looks
Shot.
like a Gut Shot.
It's actually not a bad draw.
No, not too bad at all, actually.
I mean, Garrison's still pretty mana tight here, so just getting one of the mana creatures out of. He also might just fire off his. He can actually fire off a Bonfire for 2 and then Gut Shot the token to finish it off.
Yeah, which looks like that's what he's going to do.
Not as good as drawing a land on his draw step and just doing this for 3, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
Still okay. So we're going to clear the board and get some damage through. It's going to put Mark down, I believe, 7.
Yeah. With 2 more Bonfires in the hand and under no threat of dying in the short term, AJ's probably going to be able to punk him out here before Garrison can play out all his entire hand.
Forced into play. Thragtusk would have been a really good draw that turn.
Yep.
And he still has some turns to draw it, but I mean, Thragtusk is something he's going to want to be doing. I mean, the window's open for Mark right now to just play Restoration Angel and equip it, which is what AJ wants to happen.
Right, he's got a snag in his hand, right?
Yes. Splicer. You're equipping the token or are you equipping the Blade Splicer itself?
Probably the Blade Splicer itself, because it gives you just the most hedges against Vapor Snag.
Okay. Mark elects to equip the token. AJ draws his card. We know there's a snag over there, which I presume he will be casting shortly. And so, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Sword during the last game. Yeah. Last game it ended up being fairly good. This game has gotten him into more trouble than anything else.
Right.
Because at this juncture, he's just been overvaluing exactly what it's going to do.
It's another Bonfire for 2 to get Garrison down to 3 after the attack, and then
any land is going to seal it.
A land is lethal, yeah.
But he still has the window to draw Thragtusk, which changes a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Looks like he drew Razor Verge Thicket.
Yeah.
So Restoration Angel's going to resolve. He's going to equip.
Sort it up.
And shows him Bonfire. I guess he was at 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So AJ with a very grindy, multiple hard cast Bonfire, the damn fueled victory.
Hey, anyone who thinks that Bonfire is only good when you're Miracled, you've just been proven wrong.
I mean, arguably, wasn't. I mean,
it wasn't great, but he got the job done.
Sure, yeah, it was good enough. There's probably better things he could have been doing for 5 and 6 mana in the abstract than.
Oh, sure, he could have been casting Frost Titan. You're right.
Yeah,
that's true.
Whatever.
That's true. He could have been casting Inferno Titan.
Thunder Maw, Hellkite. I mean, in theory, there's better stuff he could have done with that amount of mana, but
sure,
still got the job done.